ever see the Daft Punk animated movie that they did with Leiji Matsumoto, the creator of Captain Harlock?
No.
It's called Interstellar 5555. It was like they took this album and they took this entire album and then they made an animated movie and then played the music over it.
Like a long music video, or?
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. It was pretty awesome, though.
Okay.
I can't believe you've never seen it.
No.
I think you don't really get out much, so.
Not really.
You don't like to experience new things.
No. No, I'm very comfortable. I like my comfort.
Well, you're like pushing 50, so I'm sure you get settled into a routine at that point and you don't really want to do anything.
No.
Like yesterday I call you up, you want to hang out? I'm painting.
I was painting.
I don't know.
What can I do?
What do you want to do? Want to watch? Whatever.
2 weeks. I'll have my freedom in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Hello, everyone. This is Elliott Serrano and Jose Melendez coming to you from Dreamland Comics in Schaumburg, Illinois. Welcome back for yet another series of conversations here on the Comic Culture Warrior YouTube channel. And kind of a light week as far as comic books came out. So why don't we get the reviews out of the way, because there are actually some significant rants and opinions to be expressed today.
And hopefully we'll be doing something a little bit different with these videos.
Yeah. Oh, well, we'll see. I want to have a little fun.
I think you should.
We'll have fun with it. I know that.
Okay.
But let's talk about the one book that I know everyone is wondering what our opinion is. And that would be Dark Avengers number 3. Came out on Wednesday. I even said after Dark Avengers number 2 that I wasn't going to buy this book anymore. I would just read it for the purposes of reviewing it, but I'm not buying it. And reading issue number 3 kind of cemented that opinion for me. Jose, what happened in the book?
What happened? Did anything happen?
Oh,
Jesus. All right. So, first of all, the first whole half of this book is like Norman Osborn. It's like a flashback, and it's Norman Osborn talking to the Sentry, trying to get him on his side and try to bond maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
And as I'm reading this, I was like, oh, all right. First of all, it's just it was terrible. I am a big fan of psychology, and it's actually one of the things that, besides comics and politics, I'm very interested in psychology. I've read a lot of books. It's a very interesting subject. But, man, this is just so... God, I just wanted it to be over with. It just seemed like they were talking about the same thing over and over again. And you know what? If I wanted to fucking watch an episode of Dr. Phil for free on TV, I would go and watch that shitty show. Not have to pay $4 to read an episode of Dr. Phil in the Dark Avengers.
Bob, you've got a problem.
God.
You need to work through your problems.
It was just so, like, all right, I understand what they were doing, but I will say this. If it was two completely different characters having this conversation, characters that I actually cared about, it might have been interesting. It might have worked, but you take the Sentry, who I really am just done with him. I'm sick to death. And the Sentry cries again in this issue, by the way.
The guy's a basket case. He's an emotional basket case.
I'm just done with him.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you have Harry Osborn talking to him and trying to, like, again, trying to draw corollaries between stuff that happened in Harry Osborn's life, or
right.
Norman Osborn's life, that the Sentry is going through, so they can, so they can bond a little bit. And I just don't get it.
Yeah.
First of all, we all know that he's just saying this stuff to the Sentry to manipulate him.
Right.
Because that's what Norman Osborn's all about.
Right.
If it was a case where, it was Norman Osborn opening up a little bit and maybe being like feeling guilty about some of the things. Again, like if I would have looked at it through that lens, it would have been kind of interesting. But Norman Osborn's a crazy fuck, and nothing that comes out of his mouth is going to be sincere. And the only reason he's being sincere is because he wants to control the Sentry, and he knows how to do it.
Right.
So this whole first half was just like, you know, the Void doesn't exist. Yes, he does. No, he doesn't. Yes, he does. It's like, and that's pretty much what it comes down to for these 12, 14 pages of them having this discussion, is Norman Osborn convincing him that the Void is not real and that Bob or Sentry can control himself.
Right.
It was just, man, it was very pedestrian in psychological terms too. Just reading it, it's so lowbrow. I don't know. I didn't care for it. And then after that shit's done, then the comic just gets even worse. It just goes back to being what it was being, and mindless action. And Morgana Le Fay is back in time, and now it's jumping through time, and you know, she finally beats these guys again. She turns Ares to stone, and she's controlling Venom. And then what happens, and I'm not even going to go off on a huge rant about this, because compared to what happened last issue, this is like nothing. Bullseye, a.k.a. Hawkeye, shoots like 6 arrows into Morgana Le Fay, or Morgan Le Fay as she should be called. One in the head. Again, in the head, I don't know. So, she dies again. What a surprise. But she's not dead, because she died in the last issue, so she comes back again, and I'm done. I'm done with this fucking comic. Like, nothing's happened. Again, nothing's happened in 3 issues.
Nothing happens.
And Baby Wolverine, guess what? He's not doing anything again for 3 issues. Maybe he has 2 lines and he's not doing anything.